Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Oh, Rick is
Like, I feel like you look different.
I was gonna say you
Yeah.
did.
I'm gonna let mine go now.
You won't catch me doing that.
Did not know that you.
No.
Yes, I guess
I
me.
appreciate the 1 every 4 day clip job is the best thing, as opposed to having.
That
was
I've seen and known you.
That
Got
is
it.
fascinating.
Done. What?
Not the default.
Not the
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I noticed. I was like,
I'm much more clean cut.
That's what you want to be put up.
Less scary.
I don't know.
I love the way you did a little bow when you said
Actually, that was a curtsy.
that.
That was a curtsy.
All right, do me. Okay, now I know.
I get to sit next to
Okay, hello, everybody. It is 6:01 p.m. and we'd like to call the meeting of the Sanborn Regional School Board to order. We will stand for the pledge.
Oh, Ellie's gonna lead the pledge.
Oh, and we will lead.
I believe it's being led by Eleanor Rankin,
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Sanborn Regional High School Junior. Ellie?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Yep. All right, we ready? Okay.
Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
And Nicole.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope we're all well. Yeah, okay. My name's Ellie. I'm a member of student agency, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about that group and then also about the historical field trip we went on in like March. Yeah. I was like, it was. So we went to the we went on the historical field trip and we saw a lot of cool artifacts and we learned a bunch. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it personally. I know it was well received by many of my peers. One cool artifact that I personally thought was pretty cool was a powder horn, it was used during the Revolutionary War to keep gunpowder dry because they needed a way to carry it. And yeah. And then, yeah, it was pretty cool. There was also a cup that someone took from one of the dinners. It was a cup used by Marquis de Lafayette. Don't know if I said that name right. But he was a French military officer that came to the United States to help us out win that war. So props to him. And then it was just a really fun experience. And I'm glad that me and most of the school could come with. And so I want to say thank you to the Sanborn Seminary and Kingston Historical Society for letting us do this. Yeah, thank you. And then, so yeah, the group I'm representing today is Student Agency. We're a group of combined middle schoolers and high schoolers. Sadly, no one else could make it because sports, other extracurricular activities. But yeah, we attend conferences quarterly. There we meet with other schools. We see what they're up to. Some of them are planning spirit weeks to help build school spirit and things like that. And our big goal right now, like the whole purpose the people are in the group, is to promote positive change in our communities. And yeah, at those conferences, we learned skills to help us accomplish those goals. We've learned how to make a scrum board, which is a board that helps us accomplish our goals and keep organized. And yeah, I just want to reinstate that we're middle school and high school because it's really important that we keep it going so we don't have to stop and re-explain everything every time, because just add a couple new people every time and it'll keep us in good shape throughout the whole time. And yeah, I look forward to the years ahead and see what we can do. Yeah, that's it.
thank you, Ellie.
Any questions? Are we tight?
I had one question. Where was the field trip? At the Kingston Historical Society?
Yeah, it was in Concord.
Okay.
So it was the Concord, it's the New Hampshire Historical Society in Concord. So it was open to all of the students in the high school. And out of the 426-ish students, we took close to 200 over the course of 4 days, 5 staff members each day supporting them. So we were able to get like 20 different staff members and almost 200 students on that field trip, which was really exciting.
Yeah, what she said.
Great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have action on the minutes for 3/18/26?
It's not in there.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Just give me a second.
Sure.
I'm looking for the agenda. I gotta go to.
Oh.
It's not in this folder.
Um,
Up here, there was a typo in,
in the agenda?
no, in the minutes. It said that Adam was gonna be visiting on January 31st. I think it was March 31st. Okay, it did. Okay, good. Thank. After the fact. Wonderful.
Tomorrow.
A second.
At the SAU with the staff, with the, at 11 with staff and then with admin and principals at 11:30.
Great.
And I think he may be going to a place as well.
Depends on time tomorrow. He'll be in around 11 o'clock tomorrow. We switched it on at his request. Actually, he was down for a meeting on Thursday tomorrow anyway.
What do you need?
So we moved it back a day. I
I
just
have
linked.
it, I have it now.
You got it now?
I found it. I didn't see it in the folder.
So, yeah, Adam will be down tomorrow. We have a superintendent's meeting in Epping, and he'll be coming down after that to meet with the SAU staff and the principals and the senior leadership group tomorrow. And me.
Okay. So are the minutes correct now?
The minutes at the time he was, it's a good question. He was actually supposed to be down on
Yeah.
the 31st. So that,
Timer correct.
It
Yeah.
says 131.
They accurately capture what happened then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, it says 131.
Oh, so it should have said.
It should say 331. That's what Kathleen's saying.
It says 131.
there we go.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay,
Here we
yeah.
go.
So 5.4 under superintendent's report, Adam Houghton will be visiting on 131. It should said 331.
And we believed it to be 3 then.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But then it obviously shifted, but we should keep it at the
Would you-
331 because that's what,
That's what
Yeah.
the minutes should reflect.
Do you want to revise your motion to?
so I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the editing of the superintendent's report that Adam Houghton will be visiting 3/31/26.
Second.
Any further discussion? I should have mentioned already that Ken Hamilton,
Okay.
he's excused.
Thank you.
For those of you that were looking for Ken. All in favor? That's,
I don't.
I mean, it's not unanimous, right? Or is it?
I think it is.
All right, unanimous for those present.
My hands up.
All right.
Okay. Can I put it down?
Yes, you
Thank
may now put it
Thank you.
in. Okay, moving on.
Did you want to do secret ballot on that?
Well, secret ballot has been very popular.
Okay,
lately,
thank you.
but I'm gonna move these around. Manifests are moving around. And I move to superintendent for nominations.
Tonight, we have a list of nominations for 114 teachers and others on professional contracts, which includes nurses, counselors, OTs, PTs, interventionists, and our librarians. If I missed any job title, please forgive me. And the board normally moves all of these in one vote. You do have a list in your stuff of those 114 folks.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? 1, 2,
She had her hand up.
okay. And opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay, so 5 in favor and 1 abstention.
We also have a list of resignations, which I've shared with you. And just if you have any questions on those, let me know. But there's no action there. They're just resignations to note.
Okay. And now the superintendent's report.
Once I get to that page.
Okay.
There it is. Want to give you first an update on the open enrollment process that's moving its way through the legislature in Concord. The Superintendent's Association gave us an update about a week ago. There was a hearing at the State House last Wednesday where the bill was discussed. And I just wanted to give you sort of their take on where they think this is going to land. It looks like funding will be handled through the state. So we would be sending funding to the state and then they would be sending it on to the other district, which apparently is similar to the charter school funding. It would go through the Educational Trust Fund. But I'm not sure they've settled yet on how much that funding is going to be. It's still debated whether it's 80% or 100% of the per pupil cost of the sending school is what they've been talking about. So that's still a bit unclear. They are going to require, in the original bill had school districts reporting out on their open capacity once every month. On the first of the month, you had to tell them exactly what your capacity was, same day as you turn in your enrollment numbers. They've now got that down to July 1st and December 1st. As they look for that. One interesting part about transportation they noted was that parents will be able to, if the law passes as they think it will, or it may, parents who want to have their kids go to school in a different district will be able to drop their students off at any bus stop in that district and get transported from there, which I think is just kind of interesting. They have moved back the likely effective date of the new law to July 1st of next year, 2027. So we won't be dealing with this situation this year. And there is a study committee in the works to continue to work on the bill moving forward.
I just had can I ask a question?
You can ask me anything you want.
So on the bus, so they can drop a kid at any bus stop, but that would still follow what would be within our policy though. You can't drop like a 8th grader at a memorial, like because I know how we've dealt with
Age separation.
the age separation with collaborative, classical.
How can I answer this question? Like a lot of things with this particular law at the time, it's kind of TBD.
Okay.
State law, of course, trumps district policy. So you could make the argument that if a kid is dropped off at the elementary, of course, they don't drop it at the school. So that might be problematic, but that's a good question. I don't know.
I'm just wondering if this open enrollment then falls because open enrollment is going towards, the reason they're moving to open enrollment is basically to make public schools charter schools. So then Seacoast, like if there's there'll be some loopholes where we have kids maybe at the classical that could take them, an 8th grader that could take them memorial because it's like, I'm just sort of the things that we need to sort of think about, like, yes, open enrollment has a lot of positives, but there's some things that it's going to shift other things in other directions that we need to sort of be aware of and whatever information that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we wait the final bill is really going to guide everything. Right now, it's very speculative. I do know that a couple months ago, we talked about possibly having a warrant article in relation to this. And as I understand the new law, it basically wipes out all those warrant articles. So everybody who put time and effort and legal fees into putting together a warrant article, they're basically obliterated by the new law, as I understand it, and
not
done yet. So the law is still in the sausage making phase, if you will.
Okay.
As I used to.
Thank you for all
Roland
your
wants to see that.
updates and work on this. I appreciate this. It's going to change the landscape one way or the other.
Yes, and it's still a bit of a moving target, but the best news in this is that it's July 1 of 27. So districts have a chance to budget, and that's really going to be a big issue for some schools and trying to figure out how you budget and how incoming funds from another district can you put them in your budget or not? And so there's a lot of questions there. Second thing we're hearing out of Concord that may come up is something around EFA funds. EFA funds are the Education Freedom Account funds for people that do not choose to educate their kids in the public schools or charter schools, I believe. One bill is going through the legislature right now that would allow those students to access 49% of their education in the public schools. And the public schools would not be receiving any funding for those kids because the state adequacy aid and so forth would not be going to the schools, but they could attend, say, 2 classes a day at the high school. That's 40% of their day income. So that's something else that's churning through the legislature that I think is something we have to keep an eye on. And so
That with homeschool?
We do it with homeschool kids. There are districts, however, and I should clarify that are now, we don't have any kids that are doing this right now. At least about a month and a half ago, we checked on the EFA list of students and the kids that are accessing partial education here. And there are definitely homeschool kids who do that, and that's great. But kids who take the EFA money, the question is, a lot of districts are seeking to recoup some of that fund. So let's say a kid wants to play baseball. I'll keep it really simple. And we figure out the cost of a kid playing baseball in the district is $200. There are districts that are seeking to access the students' AFA money to pay that. So they would be paying the district $200 for the opportunity to play baseball. Right now, students that are homeschooled in particular, again, they can participate in those sports. They can take classes here and there in the school district, and we don't charge them. The question is, if they're taking the EFA, is that money that we are able to recoup? Some districts are going after that. I haven't brought that to you because right now we don't have any students in that situation. And of course, the law may change, next week. So everything is changing so fast. We haven't really touched on that just yet because there wasn't really a need. Couple other things. We do have a number of open positions that'll be posting on the district website in the next week or so. So if you know people that are looking for positions, we'll have a list of those in the next couple of weeks as the normal sort of churn of the year occurs. I am actively looking at a new vendor for our webpage and communication tools that will be based hopefully on a Sanborn specific app that will go on your phones. I've had conversations with a couple of vendors, in particular one who has experience because the Ellis School is on this app. Hampstead uses this app, and our new superintendent, Mr. Houghton, his district also uses it. It's called Aptigee. We've had some good conversation on that. I think that can be a budget neutral item because that will also include our communications piece as far as snow day notifications and things like that. And they would be appearing on your mobile phones as a notification, not going out by email. And we know that's a much, much faster way. Classrooms would be able to develop their own little room within the elementary, second grade classroom, and a teacher could send out updates about the Valentine's party or the special dance coming up in the week within a class, stuff like that. So we really think that could be very helpful. And I would hopefully make a request that the PR committee meet next time around so that they can take a look at that and give me some feedback on what they think about that. We said Mr. Houghton will be here tomorrow, and just wanted to inform the board, as I think I told you by email, that I have been summoned for jury duty on May 4th, lucky me, in Rockingham Superior Court, which should be interesting. So just so you know. And as an old social studies teacher, I am nerding out just a little bit about that. I gotta be honest.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Dawson, I have a
Yes.
question on
Sure.
policy.
Yeah.
Thank you again, you and all the superintendent tracking legislative action.
Yeah, it's not me. It's really a guy named Jerry Frew who's up at the NHSAA. He's amazing.
Well, those are great updates and help us plan.
Yep.
2027 date for open enrollment's really helpful. I'm just curious from the perspective of the industry group, right? And I know we're trying to read tea leaves, so nothing is yet certain.
Yeah.
It seems to me that over the past several months, the conversation has shifted a little bit from if open enrollment is made law in the state of New Hampshire to now when and how.
Mhm.
And I'm just curious if the Superintendent's Association has an opinion on that.
They haven't, to my memory, sort of explicitly stated that they feel it's absolutely going to happen. But I think the feeling within the group of 50 or so superintendents is that it is going to happen. There was some conversation that there was questions whether the governor was going to sign it or not.
Right.
There was some political pressure being applied on her from both sides. I don't think that's a big secret because that happens with any significant change in Concord. And so that's really, the question. I think that pressure would have been higher in a situation where we were looking at doing it this summer because of the chaos. The other question is, of course, if it's delayed by a year, there is an election cycle that occurs that may change. Right now, the three bodies in Concord have Republican majorities, and that could flip, at which point the whole law could go away. So there's those kind of things happening as well. So it's interesting. Like I said, the old government teacher is kind of nerding out about it all, but that's kind of where it's at. I think the feeling is that it's going to pass and it's going to be a thing. And the districts have to prepare for it and find a way to take advantage of it.
Turn it into a competitive advantage, I would
Yeah.
say.
That's right. And I guess
Exactly.
that's the intent. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And one of the And to connect that back to the app, when I went to a couple of workshops in Nashville a couple of weeks ago at the superintendent's conference, and there was the whole market, find a way to sell your school, find an advantage, find something that you can get kids to come to your school to do. And I think that's something we can really benefit from, starting with the app. I don't want to get too far ahead of the process, but I think improving our website is a key, because that's the first contact for people. And I just talked to the principals the other day about the idea of if somebody calls up and says, "Hey, I want to tour your school," that we offer a tour same day.
Sure.
Yep. Come on right down. We'll meet you at 2:00. You got a student lined up and we'll walk around the building. Those kind of things are what we're recommended, and I think are really important.
Thank you very much for that.
You bet.
I think for the board, I think that's useful framing for all of our conversations. Shifting from what do we do if this happens to how can we maximize Sanborn districts, turn this into an opportunity for risk.
Mhm.
Thank you for that update.
No worries.
Okay, so absent our student council representative, we will move on to subcommittee reports and new committees. Let's first look at subcommittee reports. Do we have any?
As is par for the course, the Finance and Facilities Subcommittee met this evening, as we always do. Lots of work, as we have a large district with lots of aging facilities, and there's just a lot of good work happening in this. So, we went over our normal financial remarks. You can watch the actual meeting if you want the details on that, but our normal course of action for financial remarks. Then we went over our fee structure, the coming fee structure, the development of one for renting our facilities out, mainly Swayze Gym, as well as our other facilities. But the focus right now is really Swayze Gym, looking at who are the stakeholders, what are they using it for? What are the fees that it costs the district to run? And then how can we appropriately share those fees across the stakeholders? And I think there's a little bit more work to be done, and some phone calls to be made. And then the subcommittee will present a draft fee structure to the broader board for its review and approval. We also reviewed a couple of playground items, and let's see. I think that was the majority of it. Oh, and then Dan, are you still back there? I can't see you. Dan gave us an outstanding update for Siemens, and just kind of jump in, Dan, if I misquote you here. We are 98%. Is that number? 95%. Thank you. So we're probably about 95% the way there with our LED upgrade. So that's fantastic. And Dan is doing a walk around continually to assess where we are. And we sit on April 1, and this was projected to be completed in June. And so Siemens has not only performed on par with what they said and what they contracted us, they are well ahead of schedule. And so that's great to see. And Dan, the feedback that you're getting, you or Mr. Dawson, are you getting some good feedback from teachers, staff, et cetera, about the lighting thus far?
Yeah, now that everything's programmed and operating as
Yep.
it should.
Yep.
The complaints have died down, and they're glad that they have the system in place.
Great.
To help them teach in their work. And everything else.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think teachers are surprised how bright it is, because we have light bulbs burned out and not working.
Yeah.
So now we're back to an operational.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you for your work with that, Dan.
Yep.
So that, gentlemen, did I miss anything? Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, the only thing I had was Swayze Gym, I think we discussed, was used 1/8 district from the numbers we have right now. The rest is used by, other town functions. And then the only other thing we talked about was the fact that I had asked the business administrator for a breakdown of what we spent in legal fees with
Right.
Drummond, Woodman, and with McMahon.
What's them?
Oh, I'm sorry. Woodsum. I apologize. I should get that right for the money. So I made a formal request to have all the bills sent to my attention from August 2025 through March of 2026. And if there's a right to know request, I'll be happy to file that. We have spent in the last 12 months $244,451.45. Based upon some calls that I made today, that is relatively high for a district our size. And I think the money could be best spent elsewhere, perhaps teachers, maybe. So I would like the bills. Thank you.
Can you repeat that number?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It's a big number.
Right into the microphone.
$244,415.45.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the goal is to begin looking for maybe a more appropriately waged and sized firm to service the district.
Smart. Thanks, guys.
So we have sent out, based on the messages that I've received from, oh, go ahead. What?
Can I just give a quick PR?
Oh, yeah. I thought we had another. Go ahead. We go to-
PR has not met, but I just do have 2 updates. So the Sanborn Community Organization will be meeting here next Wednesday at 6. And I had the pleasure of attending a conference that SOROC put on. It was Growing Risk of Unregulated Intoxicating Products of Youth in New Hampshire. So SOROC works alongside other coalitions in public health to bring awareness about drugs, alcohol, other public health concerns for our youth. SOROC, it was an amazing conference.
Say the name one more time, Heather. I'm sorry.
SOROC,
No, the name of the conference.
Growing Risk of Unregulated Intoxicating Products for Youth in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So it's things that are sold at convenience stores.
Right. Yeah.
Like our little kids could walk into the
Oh, yeah.
store.
And accidentally buy too.
Yes, they look like Skittles and Nerds, and but it was just a really great conference, and I just wanted to kind of put that out there that we do have some great work being done for prevention for our youth here.
And it was free to attend.
Yes, it was free, and you got lunch.
Yeah, right.
So there is such a thing as a free lunch.
Well,
I guess.
I think it's, I had registered, but I wasn't able to attend. Sorry, because it definitely, in my opinion, I'm glad you got value out of it, but anytime you can get great information and collaborate with, people, I think it's, they do great work. They really do.
All the districts in the southern.
Yeah, it's good.
It was great.
Thanks for going.
Nice. One word on new committees. The subcommittee assignments for new committees, same subcommittees for everyone's knowledge. We still have a policy and personnel subcommittee, a facilities and finance, public relations, excellence and student achievement, a representative for SST, and a representative for the school board representative to the budget committee when they meet. So we've sent out assignments for those. You can look at the spreadsheet to see what's what, and I'll work with Phyllis. We'll talk about getting a regular cadence. I'd like to make sure that we have the subcommittees meet fairly regularly, especially with, new leadership coming in, transitioning to a new year. There's a lot of stuff that we got to be thinking about. So we want to make sure we're meeting and establishing those. And it was, good to use. I think we're going to make great use of our new board members' expertise on these committees. So, without further ado, I guess, do we have to wait till exactly 6:30?
Well, you have first public comment.
Oh, I got to do that. Well,
You may want to take that out of order.
yeah, we might want to take that out of order. Does anybody have an issue if we move first public comment to right after the
9-1.
9-1?
Yeah, we kind of have to hit the 6:30,
We got to hit the 6:30.
Yeah.
which is in 23 seconds.
I make
Okay.
a motion to move first public comment to after 9.1.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Let's now move to 9.1, a public hearing on donations for the Sanborn Seminary trustees.
You should
I'm sorry?
wait till 6:30.
Oh, it's not 6:30?
No, 6:29.
Come on.
There you
There we go. Now we will do a public hearing.
Yeah.
The donations.
All right. Good evening. I'm Nicole Cartier, principal of the middle and high school. I met with the Sanborn Seminary trustees last Tuesday evening, and they have very graciously approved all of the requests that we submitted. So I stand here before you to present the really valuable requests that we brought forward. The total, I believe, Phyllis, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a big number, is $63,995
It's 60.
and 56 cents because the SOROC one is not part of the school donations. They're a separate entity. So that was that total was just subtracted. The SOROC amount was subtracted. It was approved, but it goes directly to that community organization and not through the school. So the first one proposed is a celebration of military service, a military display cabinet. This is a display case for military service items and a roster of all graduates who have gone on to serve the country. It's a way to celebrate and honor the service of Sanborn graduates and the community. That's the first one. Second, we have Living as Conscientious Citizens, Stories from the Bench, which is a program to bring the retired Judge Shannon Frisson, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, to come and present information to all students about her judicial career. Students will leave with a better understanding of the preparation, experience, and character required to work within the legal profession. This does connect directly with our 10th grade curriculum in Your Government, Your Money, but we would like that to open it up to the entire high school student body. Improving student safety through updated football helmets is the next one. So new up-to-date football helmets that meet or exceed current safety standards would be purchased for approximately 40 student athletes to reduce the risk of head injury during practices and games. The Submariners team consists of approximately 20 students who are training for the 2027 races. This will go towards the cost of scuba certification for students who are new to the club, as well as further certification for existing divers. A poster printer that would exist here in the library. This printer will allow students to design and print large format posters at school. It would be used for research, data visualization, art, and STEM courses. A library makerspace, which would be in that room that's located next to the library. It's a space that's accessible by all students to create and learn independently through hands-on experiences. And there's a pretty large amount of items that they've requested for that, like Lincoln Logs, Legos, 3D printer. So kind of looking at all ranges of ways to work with your hands. A ceramic air purifier for the art room. It's an air filter that will help to mitigate the dust in the ceramics room throughout the school year as the kiln is used for student projects. And the final one is the privacy fence out behind the cafeteria that's been previously presented and would allow for increased security with the use of outdoor seating in space.
Thank you. These are great.
We have a motion to accept the donation.
So my question is, so rock was removed and we already approved the fence at the last meeting, right? So we have to,
I believe we have to accept the donation of the funds. So the building of the fence was contingent on the acceptance of the funds today. Right?
So that's part of it.
okay.
So we only have to subtract the SOROC, is that right?
So my understanding is they're a community organization, so the money would go directly to them.
Yeah.
So that's why I had this total, but
What's the new total that you have?
$63,995.56.
I make a motion to approve the very generous Sanborn Seminary trustees donations of $63,995.56.
Second.
All right.
Discussion beyond
Thank
our
you.
immense thanks.
Expect gratitude.
Yeah.
For the grantee.
Yeah, we will be meeting with the seminary, I believe, next week. Our art students just did some screen printing and they printed t-shirts of the seminary building. And so we'll be presenting that to the trustees as a thank you because we appreciate their continued support here. So,
I do appreciate the variety of the different kinds of things that are the grants, and individually each one is exciting. I'm like, ooh, I'm excited for the students.
Yeah.
To be able to engage with these kinds of things.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know where the display cabinet is going to go? Oh, she's looking over at Dan.
Dan's proposal. So I'm going to.
Inside the envelope.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. That's
Great.
super appreciated. And that's really awesome to see.
Believe me, I appreciate the servicemen.
Thank you.
Make this country great.
That's awesome. Amen.
Thank you.
If no further discussion, all in favor?
No public comment.
Oh, what? Oh, we have to do that. Sorry, wait. We have to have public. Is there any public comment on the donations? I didn't even see that.
It's okay.
Okay. Now we can move on.
There you go.
It's 6:30.
Now we can,
Now we can vote. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
and then we have to go back to.
Now we're going back to other
you go.
public
Our
comment.
first public comment.
First public comment, if anyone has one. Okay,
Yeah, so under new business.
Yep.
Briefly raise a point for clarification.
Sure.
I'm not looking for discussion tonight. I just want to put this on the board's radar. I recently submitted a right to know request related to sign-in logs for a report that was made available for review at the SAU office. I understand the district has indicated additional time is needed to review and consult with council, and I respect that process. Given the board members, including myself, signed in to access that report, I think it would be helpful for the board to have a general understanding of how those logs are maintained and what the district's record retention practices are in situations like this. Again, I'm not looking for discussion tonight, just noting this for awareness.
okay. Thank you, Rick.
Welcome.
Okay, so let's move now on to 9.2. End of year events for the class of 2026. Sorry, bouncing you back and forth.
Do you need the projector?
That depends. If you would like me to project it, I'm happy to. I may need some assistance with the technology. I won't lie. But I do have it. If you'd like me to project it, it has also been shared with each of you, I believe.
Is there a lot of slides?
It's just the one-page calendar of events for the end of the school year.
Does,
Got it.
it's in the shared drive?
Six end of year event.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's linked in the folder.
Why do I never have the things that everybody says?
It's linked in the agenda.
In the.
It's hyperlinked.
You mind?
Oh, it's linked in the.
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah, yeah.
In the
Hyperlink.
email
It's
Even
blue.
better.
Bob sent
I'm
you.
not good with.
How do I get out of this?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't put that one in the drive.
End of year event.
Now, in the drive.
It's in the
I think
packet.
if you projected this, no one would see it anyway.
Yeah, it's
So let's just
yeah,
talk-
and
let's
it,
talk through it.
it's like on that legal paper. It's like 18 inches long. You know.
Yeah, legally.
Yeah, and we
Up
shorten the
by-
margins.
Yeah.
And,
by 17.
Yeah.
So our year-end events are clearly much awaited for, and I've received a number of individuals who are anxiously awaiting the reveal. So I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but just point out some noteworthy activities. They're all noteworthy, but just a few of the bigger ones that I think there are questions on. Our prom is the first one that's coming up on May 14th. That is going to be at the Black Swan Country Club in Georgetown. The junior class has done a phenomenal job at planning that. They have every last detail. They've come to me with questions of things that I'm not sure I would have even thought of. So they're doing a really excellent job with that. They're really excited. We will have the promenade here first at 4:30 for anyone who would like to come out and see the students who choose to come here first. The students will be announced and walk across the stage together, have a picture, and then they'll carry on to the prom, which begins at 6. And that is on a Thursday night. So we look forward to seeing everyone here on Friday. We also have our senior honor dinner and scholarship night coming up on May 19th. Those are students who have earned the summa cum laude recognition for graduation, and I will be informing them officially Friday morning with a letter, and we'll be making some phone calls home together to inform families of this exciting opportunity and achievement. Our senior sports awards, the 26th, followed by music awards, the 27th, followed by SST certificate night. It's going to be a busy week. Our seniors, May 29th would be their last day here in the building, where they will get their cap and gowns and participate in their sign out. And June 1st and 2nd, they will be traveling to Bar Harbor and Acadia, Maine, which they presented to you previously. Thank you for approving that trip. They're very excited. We have our drama awards on June 3rd. June 4th is our baccalaureate and their graduation practice. And then June 5th is class day and graduation. I believe there's a question as to whether or not this should be
Okay. Figured that's why.
early dismissal.
Yeah,
I'm
one
the new
thing.
kid in town, so
No, that's good. And then the old kid in town forgot. Normally when we set the graduation date, because we were setting it a week earlier than was some people, we didn't really set the date. June 5th would be graduation date. That has traditionally been an early release day. Super helpful at the high school level because the day is kind of planned around the students leaving, and then events for the seniors to come immediately after that. The seniors spend the day with, they go to the elementary schools, which is an absolutely amazing event. They have class day. There's a lot of events that happen that day. It's traditionally been an early release day, but we didn't clarify that at the last meeting when we set the date of graduation. So my thought would be to continue the tradition of having an early release day on June 5th.
What time is that?
It's
normal.
noon at the middle school and high school level would be the release. I'm not sure what that is for the elementary schools.
It's usually like 1:10.
It's true. We haven't had any this year. So
Yeah,
It's 2 hours before we'll get.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 1 o'clock because Memorial gets out at 3.
Yeah.
It's out at like 3:10.
And graduation begins at 6 p.m.
Make a motion for an early release day for K through 11.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Good. Unanimous. Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
already getting teary-eyed. I'm like, can anything?
We're gonna be fine.
You'll be fine.
I can't.
Principal Cardy, why don't you continue now with 9.3 on the agenda, the middle school, high school office reorganization / bell schedule unification
Okay.
topic.
So we are a middle school and a high school existing in the same building. We have a number of shared staff, specifically for our elective courses that are offered to middle school and high school students. Currently, the bell schedule is not the same. They do not align, and that leads to an overlap in time for students needing to wait in the hallway before they can get into their next class. And this tends to be unsupervised, unstructured time. Though we shift things around to make it work, they are waiting in the hallway. It's not ideal. It is a loss of instructional time. We are looking to align the bell schedules between the middle school and high school. And we've come up with a number of reasons why this would benefit our students and staff. One of them being that it allows us to maximize the use of shared staff so that they can actually teach all of their classes without having students waiting in the hallway. And also those teachers who have students waiting in the hallway, they don't get that 3-minute break if they need to run to the restroom or change a slide or any of that. They don't get that break because they immediately welcome the other level of students into their classroom. It would minimize the unsupervised time during transitions due to the shared staff. It would create a sense of importance of getting to class on time. At the middle school level, currently middle schoolers do not transition with a bell. They transition with a, okay, it's time to go to your next class. Some of our students use lockers, and it would be important. It would help them to have maybe a sense of urgency of, I do need to be in the classroom on time, and there is something that marks what on time means for me. So we feel that that structure would help to support the structure of the school day. It would also allow us to maximize the use of bell-to-bell time. There's often confusion that arises, particularly at the end of the day at 2:07 when the middle school bell rings for dismissal, and the high school students are eager to be on their way. Sometimes substitutes may not recognize which bell they are because they're shared between the middle and high school, and we may end up with additional students leaving at that 2:07 time. So we're looking to really maximize all of the time that we're here in the building together. In doing this and looking at this combined bell schedule, we've moved some things around to try to really maximize the time that students are in front of teachers getting instruction, because we think that's at the center of all that we do here, and want to put that as a priority.
And this would be, excuse me, in I think it was 19, when the decision was made to move the middle school students here, there were the best way I can come up with is promises made to the community about how much separation there would be between the two. We could do this as an administrative team and make the decision on our own, but we feel it makes sense because the board made some promises at that time about the separation of the kids that we're now sort of bringing those kids back together. So it felt right to come to the board and take comments and concerns that you guys might have in regards to bringing these two schedules together. It's the same with the office conversation that's coming next. It seemed the right thing to do to ask. When the board made the decision, made some promises at the time. I know none of you were on the board at that time. I wasn't in the chair. I'm in now, obviously, but to give you guys a chance to have your input on that decision or possible decision.
So I was on the board.
Do we need a motion first?
To talk
I-
about,
I'm not sure technically it's an action item for the board. You could make it one, I guess, but
Well, it's
Well, it's on the
changed
agenda.
to the district. And then it changed it.
I think it's more of a, it's the question of whether it's in the sort of management category or the governance category that we, talked about last week. I don't really, I don't think if you guys are, super against doing this, I don't think we would move forward with it anyway. So I don't think it really makes a huge difference one way or the other.
I'll start with,
well, let's have a motion. Just,
I'm not going to make a motion.
let's make a motion to discuss it.
I'll make a motion to discuss a reorganization of the middle high school bell schedule.
I'll second it for the sake of discussion.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Heather, yeah.
Discussion.
I was on the board when this happened. My first year on the board was when the middle school was moved here, and then my second year was when the sixth graders came up. We wanted to make sure that we listened to the community, did not have middle school and high school kids passing together. We were really mindful and thoughtful in how we did that. Because there was a lot of concern from the community about the reorganization in general. So I think if we are going to do this, we really need to kind of get some data on what instances look like. Have there been instances where middle school kids are in a high school wing, high school kids in what's happening, how much time, if they are passing, what will that look like? I understand as declining enrollments and staffing, we have to sort of look at this because teachers might have to start to do other parts of, especially with the UAs. But I do know the community was very concerned, and we were very clear on how we were going to implement this to ensure everyone's safety.
So I was not on the board, but I was here that night that they voted, and I wouldn't have voted to put the kids here. It was more of a need for somebody who's no longer here. I don't have either bell schedule in front of me. I don't have the old one. I don't have the new ones. And I do appreciate all the information you gave because it was well spoken and thought out, and I'm not slighting the information, but I don't have it in front of me. So I'd like to see both of those. And I echo everything that Heather had stated, because there was a large community group here that had major concerns with, and that's why we had a different bell schedule. And lastly, the bell schedule has been in place for a number of years now. We are about 3 months away from the end of the school year. This is something that I would rather have our new superintendent weigh in on as well. I don't want to make any more changes that don't need to be really made until we have our new superintendent in place.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
I think that I was not on the board then, obviously. But I was very present for those board meetings virtually. And I remember the discussion and the concern. I also know that a large portion of the community felt that the current bell schedule still didn't adequately address those concerns. And so changing it may not necessarily be something that is shocking, because the separation was never complete in the first place. And so this kind of sort of remingling with increased supervision may not actually be that concerned. I do think it'd be nice to hear some community input.
No, I do
I
agree.
have less of a concern.
I do agree there will be more supervision, because I know when my son who's a senior was a middle schooler, they would just sit in the cafeteria for 15 minutes. Or there would be a lot of times where the middle school kids were not where they needed to be because of the way that schedule, the things that Ms. Chartier spoke about. I do think there are pros and cons to both of this, but I just want a little bit more data or information to make sure that we have plans in place if we're doing this.
You had reached out this morning, Heather, and asked me. And what I did is I reached out to, well, Nicole and I were talking about it anyway, but I reached back to Jen Mitchison and Brian Stack, the two previous principals who had been in place during the entire time the middle school kids were here in the building, about any incidents of, physical contact kind of incidents between kids, or situations where the mixing of the kids had resulted in significant situations. They're not going to remember every single one of those, but the best we could get to, especially as far as physical situations, there was only one instance where there was a physical conflict between a high school student and a middle school student. And there were some other much more minor situations that occurred between kids. I think they referred to a handing off potentially of a vape, the kind of thing that, you could say could happen on a bus. It might have actually happened on a bus. They weren't really remembering exactly what the location was. So their memory was that there hasn't really been a huge amount of conflict, that the group that was kind of more affected by it in a way, and this is something Brian brought up when they initially came in, was that the high school kids were really annoyed by having all the little kids around the building more than the other way around. So we haven't really seen a lot of it. I'm not going to say it's zero, but there's certainly that. And I don't know if you mentioned this, Nicole, but there is a significant chunk of the day where the middle school kids are rotating within their own wing of the building. This is really something that will line up and have them be out in the building like first thing in the day, which happens anyway, because they're in the cafeteria heading from the bus and so forth. After that point, and then when they're heading to and from lunch and to and from their UAs, which are all at the end of the day. So just data, I'm done.
I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's
waiting.
good. I was
One more thing to say.
I was going to add one more thing, and
Yeah.
for once in my life, I stopped.
So I guess my thoughts would be, I feel like there's been a lot of good discussion, all good points, and I don't really know where I stand with the this way, that way. I'm sure there's a reason why we did what we did. It seems like maybe it's not super effective, right? So we have kind of this back and forth. So I guess my only point to all this, and I shared this with Micah earlier, is I agree with Rick's last point there, is being so close to a new superintendent walking in the front door. I don't want to make a flurry of changes that take away his ability to walk in and have conversations with admin and address those things in a collaborative way. He's going to walk in and the conversation is going to be, hey, we just changed all these things. And he's going to be like, oh, geez, well, now I'm going to be the new guy walking in the front door and changing everything again. So I think we should hit the pause button on any sort of institutional changes that don't affect, like if there's a safety issue or something that we need to address, we should do that now. But if it's something we've been doing for a long time and we're 3 months away from a new superintendent, I'd be in favor of letting him chart the course for how he sees this and let him have the conversation with you. That would be my only thought.
So from my perspective, given those Rick's, Jeremiah's, and I agree with that sentiment. Plus, I would want to see more data, more, just to be able to look at it, right? And then also, I know I would want to re-seek community input, and I would also want to I'd want to know, and that may be embedded in what you've given to us, but I would want to know how teachers feel about this as well. Like, is this going to dramatically or even incrementally improve your ability to educate kids, or do you see it as something that you don't want? Or, I'd like to get a fuller picture of all the perspectives before we take this up again.
I think because it was such a huge community shift, I think as Rick had alluded to, many of us who were sitting on this board would not have closed the middle school. This was a decision that was made by previous boards with looking at certain things in mind. But the community was very upset about this. So I think this was the compromise at the time of how to sort of manage it, because no one agreed with no one really agreed with the closing of the middle school, the staff, the families, the kids. And I think it was a big culture shock for us. And I think we're still sort of reeling from that in a lot of different ways. So as I agree with you, like, I don't think I could go either way, but I think we have to listen to the community on some level because of how this sort of happened the first time.
Yeah, and I apologize because I want to make sure I didn't misrepresent what I was saying. I wasn't so much, not in favor of closing the middle school. It was more so moving sixth grade here.
Mm.
That happened.
Okay.
A couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
That I was not in favor of that at all because that was concerning.
Yeah, I will say that nothing should ever be set in stone, right? We need to try things, see what works and doesn't work, and be willing to change, right? And so this is an opportunity to recognize what isn't working about, right, the plan that was created because of the concerns of the middle school and the high school together, and say, okay, what can we do now to fix what isn't working?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, more information.
Yeah, I share that, Katie. And I think, if the end goal, right, is to reduce or minimize crossover between on high school students, right? That's the problem we're trying to solve. Sounds like a staggered bell schedule is an inelegant and not effective solution, especially now as we move into a new scenario where we're trying to maximize taxpayer dollars and be more flexible with staff. So we shouldn't decide this today, but let's stay focused with the new superintendent coming, saying, hey, here our goal, right, in our now combined school building is to minimize crossover contact between young students and old students. What are some strategies or tactics that we can utilize to achieve that goal, which may or may not be bell schedules or moving rooms or whatever.
And then we have all that supportive data, right?
Right.
Like teacher input, community input.
Administrative,
Yeah.
all the.
And 6 years of experience.
So I'll bring this up. What I'm hearing is pretty universal. So I think that's great. That's great feedback. I'll bring this up with Adam tomorrow because we're going to have a chat about it. So he'll have it. It'll be on his radar. The Apogee thing's already on his radar. He and I have been emailing back and forth as a user. And so what I'm hearing is you guys want to see the schedules that we're looking for. We'll get you some data, some more concrete data as much as we can out of our system on incidents between kids. And I may ask for Jen and Brian to write something up a little more formal in regards to that from their history background, and then potentially even get as far as drafting a community and a staff survey. But that may be, we'll see what Adam thinks about that. I'll run all those three things by him.
Yeah, and
We have plenty of time because Adam doesn't start effectively until July 1st. So we have plenty of time to get all that stuff done.
I'm just cognizant of the norm of not having meetings in July and early in August. And if he wants to come back with that, I'm very cognizant of setting him up. If that's the decision that's going to be left with the will here, and I hear that, is to have him involved in the decision. Let me put it that way, that I want to help give him the data he needs right off the bat from July 1 to go to maybe come back to you guys, because I know the impact. It's not as simple as just saying go on a schedule on the first day of school. There's some complications in doing that and some getting ahead of it.
I would imagine, and I'm just throwing this out there, but I had always planned, I know we don't typically meet in July, but I would assume we would want to meet in July with the new superintendent.
I would think.
4th of July.
Yeah, 4th
Yeah,
of
on the
July, yeah.
4th of July weekend,
Yeah.
at least twice.
I believe that's a Saturday.
You can meet-
So I'm just,
I'll meet on my boat because that's where I'll be on.
I agree. And I think,
Yeah.
while I appreciate those norms, I think we are in a unique scenario. And I really appreciate what you just said in your desire to set up the new leader for success.
Yeah.
That's incredibly important to people. I appreciate
Nope.
that. And we should do the same as board members.
Agreed.
I would ask that we don't off the bat narrow the solution set.
That's what I was just going to say, what you said, right?
Let's focus on the problems, right? The problem we're trying to solve, minimizing crossover between middle school students and high school students. There are a variety of potential solutions. Some we've tried, some we haven't tried. That should be the
Yeah.
discussion.
Well, I think you had a lot of benefits too,
Yeah.
that add value. And so, yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
all good information.
Yeah.
Well, I also think the actual problem is maximizing teacher
Yeah,
and
flexibility.
student downtime.
Yeah.
And that, right, with making sure that we're also addressing minimizing crossover.
Totally. I just don't want us to.
Well, and
suppose that the
to- To your point earlier, though, it could be the case that the community was very concerned about this
Community was concerned about the crossover.
crossover, right? But it could be the case that we have many years of experience right now that may have been an unfounded concern. That it simply just doesn't happen,
Right.
which would be great to know. So like, yeah, we get all this stuff.
Yeah, many.
The idea, it may be,
Spoke-
yeah,
On my 5 years, have been pleased with their experience with their middle schoolers.
yeah, I get kids in middle school, they don't,
Been able to
Yeah.
access.
So it seems
And
like,
I think the only time it still comes up, the concern is that the crossover isn't supervised. This would actually
Solve that.
yeah, it could. So
Would you be able to send your notes and your, like, sort of what your data to Dr. Dawson to share with us?
Sure, I can work on that tomorrow and Friday.
We'll put it together.
When you
Yeah.
get a chance, like, I know you got a lot going
I'm
on.
writing notes to myself.
You just had some really good facts, so
yeah, we'll continue to drill down on this. Okay, let's move over then to the office reorganization.
So this will probably be one of those other ones that might need to wait until after July 1st, but I think it's important to get it on your radar. Change takes time. So the sooner we can get it out there and start talking about it, I think the better. I do want to kind of circle back to the middle school and high school piece just for 1 second to let you know that we are trying to really maximize the relationships that exist. We have recently started a mentor program. It's pretty informal at the time. We have 3 high school students and 3 middle school students that are working on it. It happens to be 3 juniors and 3 7th graders that we're working with. And they were intentionally chosen because they will have another year in their respective schools to develop into leaders. And we're hoping that that relationship will help to develop some already established leaders in the high school to continue on that track and to help establish some stronger leaders in the middle school as well, and that they will then be able to carry it on when they get to the high school. We're trying that out for this spring. All of the parents have been notified and are on board and happy to see this in place. So we're really hoping that we see some positive results from this. And if we do, we would like to grow that next year. Our athletic director, Mr. Browner, has been very active in getting this going for us. When we came up with the idea, he helped to find some students who would be interested in participating at the high school level and has been meeting with them twice a week. And they meet about different topics. And then they also have some time to do like basketball or soccer together and just kind of connect. He gave me some really positive feedback that he was actually amazed at the level of connection they already had, which was great because these are students that didn't already know each other. So we are trying to kind of maximize the potential that exists here between having everyone on the same campus. So the office combination, we have been talking about the idea of combining the offices into one office, which would be the high school office, or what is currently the high school office because of the size. There's space there that would be able to house everyone. That would include the 4 admin assistants that we have. The purpose of this would be to what already happens is Miss Haley, Deb, sits at the secretary window, and all of the middle schoolers, all of the high schoolers, they go to that window all day long because it's a cool little window. It feels like you're going to get ice cream. Sadly, you don't, but she sits right there and they all go up to the window to talk to her about, oh, can you help me with this? Can you get me with that? So she tends to see a lot of the middle and high schoolers already. We're hoping that it would streamline the process for parents to have one space for dismissing their students or coming in for meetings. Currently, we have a system in place where if you are a middle school parent dismissing a middle schooler, you go into the middle school office and you might have a high school student as well. You want to dismiss them both. We ask the high schooler to walk around the outside of the building to get to their family because we don't want them passing through the middle school. Trying to maintain that separation. And it can be a little strange for the students to feel like they have to go find their families outdoors. We also feel like it would be one place for our admin assistants to come together to discuss sub coverage. They work on that first thing in the morning. They're on the phone back and forth between the middle and high school most of the morning, trying to figure out, can you this sub cover there? Can that sub cover there? And it would be nice for them to be able to sit together and have those conversations. As well as student attendance. So it would give a single point of contact for student attendance. So if a student doesn't arrive to class, teachers notify the office right away. It would actually give them one office to call and be able to notify administrators immediately to go out and locate that student. The nurse's office is very close to the office in the high school. Oftentimes, students are dismissed by the nurse for different ailments. It would be nice if middle school parents were able to come in and dismiss right out that door. There are often things that we don't want to travel through the building if students are not well. We would like to streamline the process for subs to submit attendance to one office. Currently, all of the attendance goes to one office, which is in the middle school. So the high schoolers go to the middle school to bring class attendance if there's a substitute. But if that individual is out, they then have to switch and go to the high school office. So naturally, there's some confusion about which office am I going to today to bring that attendance. It would help us support the coverage for lunches and absences. So there are 2 admin assistants at both offices right now. So if one needs to take lunch, well, one needs to take lunch. That's not a question. So when one does need to take lunch, we have the other one to cover, but then they're manning the office on their own. If someone is out, we don't typically have substitutes for admin assistants. So that person is left to cover the office, or we need to pull from somewhere else. And then we also have to train those individuals on the procedures in the office. The morning entry would not be impacted for students as they are all dropped off behind the building, or we want them all to be dropped off behind the building because they can come into the cafeteria or through that side door. I think that's my list.
I make a motion for discussion for the middle school, high school office reorganization.
Second.
All in favor? Just to discuss.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Discussion.
For expeditiousness, same comment as last.
I would agree.
Yep. I think this is all great. I think these are some great reasons why, and I would love Mr. Houghton to be part of that.
I feel a little bit differently.
I agree.
This feels like an easier and perhaps better decision to make now, and one that can, because I think like the actual impact is a lot less than changing the bell schedule, and all the reasons you just described are incredibly common sense, and I think could help in a time when we have, focus on staff and making sure we're maximizing every staffing out. What you just described is a lot of inefficiencies created by a physical choice. Doesn't really provide that much value. If again, our primary concern is making sure that middle school students and high school students don't interact unsupervised. That's a big concern in the hallways, maybe. It should not at all be a concern in our main office entries. And if it is, that's a different set of problems. And the architecture of the building is designed around a single main office entry. So I would support the administrative change or the administrator's recommendation. Now,
What would happen to the existing space on the middle school side? What would you do with it?
you could rent it out, Micah.
Well, we need a fee structure for that. We're getting there.
That's right.
We're doing Swayze first.
That's a great question. We've tossed around a couple of different ideas. One being an office that administrators can choose to go and be present in. I myself would love to have a space in the middle school since I am technically with the middle school. It would be great to have a space to go and be available. It also can be utilized for meetings that are maybe just amongst teachers, a nice meeting space that's not in a classroom sitting in student desks. We talked about putting an assistant principal in that space. I can't remember all of the other ideas that have been thrown out there because there's been a number. We haven't entirely figured that piece out yet.
I think it's also worth noting it's not an awesome space.
Yeah,
today.
it's a little.
No.
For its current purpose. That's
Yeah.
not criticism. It's just, it's not, its current purpose is not what it's designed for.
And it doesn't sound like you're talking about combining positions or sharing responsibilities, just the physical location of the middle school office staff in the high school office.
Correct. And if middle school students need to leave their classroom to go speak with an administrator, they would follow the same procedure that they currently do and would report directly to their assistant principal who's housed in the middle school or to the planning room that we also utilize.
But there are, even though it's not, there are combined functions though,
Right.
right?
They are like,
So like there's sub
But those would
planning.
be existing, just.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. So given the fact that they do have to work together on certain things.
and they
Right.
do go back and forth. Like I know I've emailed Miss Terrio about a late and she's like, oh, I'm in the middle school today. And Okay, I'll email Miss Haley. Like, so I do think they do the same function for the middle and the high school. They do a lot of things together, and you're right, they're on the phone calling each other from one side. Like, I agree with you. From an operational lens, this is something that is not impacting students. This is to be more efficient as a building. So I'm the same as you, James. I'm in agreement that this is something that I think should be done.
And I want to be clear, Nicole, I have no aversion to your good ideas. Okay. I have a strong desire to support the incoming superintendent and set him up, because his success will be our success, will be our community success, our district success, and so on. And so that is my goal. I have no aversion to your good ideas. So this is not anti Nicole's ideas. I just want to be clear. Okay.
I appreciate that. I learned a long time. Don't take it personal.
All right.
I have a question. What reasons could there be to not do this?
There's a sign that says middle school outside the middle school entryway.
I mean, operationally, are there any reasons? Are there any drawbacks? Whenever I give I want to know, here are my main arguments. Here's 10 reasons why we should do this. Here are reasons why maybe we shouldn't, but I could address those in these ways or whatever. Are there? And if there are none.
So my list came from a meeting with our current admin assistants. They're the experts in the area. So this is a list that we created together. The only things I think that could be potential drawbacks are that there would be an increased amount of traffic if we have a lot of dismissals or something. There could be, a lot of kids going through the office for dismissal purposes, which, with appointments and things, there have been more of those in recent years than maybe 10 years ago. So that would be one. Perhaps not having someone in that office at the middle school, if that's something that's important. We haven't identified what exactly that would look like. And just making sure that there's clear signage that that's now the main entrance would be, a priority, I think, to make sure. I will tell you, we do often have people who are visitors get lost at which entrance they're at. They call and can't figure out how to get into the building. So it would be nice to be able to direct them to one location. But they didn't have an overwhelming amount of concerns other than how can we make sure we can handle the traffic that comes through here.
Have we had any community input?
Nope, this was, I was,
And any costs involved? Furniture, there's places for everybody, no desks, no nothing.
so I would kind of defer to Dan and say perhaps the cost of labor in having people move items, because they all do currently have desks. We do have a desk that will no longer be utilized because of a retiree in the main office. So that one would be available. There's also a desk that sits empty in the high school main office that was previously occupied, and there was a reorganization prior to my time here. So there is a desk there, and then the window space at the front window does accommodate two secretaries to sit, and there are computers there.
Yeah, we currently have 5 workspaces in the main office that would be used by 4 people. Because one of the spaces is occupied by Joan Marsilia, who is retiring, and that position is not being replaced. So we can use that. There's 3 cubicles and then 2 desks at the window where people interact with our staff most consistently during the course of the day.
And what would the proposal be to take down the signage that says middle school and move that? Because our front sign says Sanborn Regional High School, Middle School. So are we just removing it? Yeah. Right.
Smaller letter. Flash middle school.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing is there are file cabinets and students information that's housed in the middle school. So we have to find a place for that in the front office that's accessible to either. I don't know a whole lot of space in the high school office for those file. The other, it's not so much an issue, but the school district spent a lot of money on that office with ballistic glass, security, and everything else. Did just give it up in a couple of years, to me, that doesn't sound fiscally responsible of doing that, quite honestly, unless those offices are used again, possibly in the future for superintendent's office or special ed office or something like that.
Or SAU 17 office.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, super.
U17 office, all decisions that should be made in due time.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We could repurpose those things because they are set up with list.
Yeah.
So that's something we need to think about too, is to have on that space.
Yeah.
Money was well spent on for those, so we should probably use that space wisely. You know, so there is a little bit of money as far as signage goes. Space for your file cabinets. Have to find a space close to the office that's accessible by those people in the front office, so we can work on that somehow. We can figure it out.
There is also Rick, you mentioned community input. I do feel like there's for those parents that don't like the idea of a combined, or they're worried about, interactions in the hall, all that stuff, right? Having a separate space feels like they have a separate middle school. Like there could be a reassuring part for parents that this is the middle school space. It has its own office. It has its own whatever.
That was the proposal.
Which is the proposed.
That was the proposal. That's what was the people sat up here and sold. 100%.
So I feel like there could be hidden costs of doing this too, from from that standpoint. But again, all the more reason I agree to let Adam weigh in a little bit.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
All good, valid
Yeah.
points too.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
poo-pooing on your work.
It's okay.
But it's just, we're going to have a lot of decisions to make shortly.
Yeah.
This district, with a lot of stuff. And I think we need to have the team in place. You're part of that team. And everything you have said tonight is added value. I just think, we don't need to do it immediately.
Okay.
Heard.
Feel good?
Yeah, that's
Any
fine.
other discussion? We're good?
No.
Makes
All right.
total sense.
Thank you, Nicole.
Again.
Nicole, you're still here.
We did line it up. So
For
she,
Thank you, Nicole.
For more.
I'll say in advance, the work that you're doing is.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about 9.4, the high school program of studies.
All right. So the program of studies has been updated and shared with all of you. The changes are highlighted in yellow, or at least we made every effort to highlight every single change in yellow. Most of the changes are new courses being offered due to the Ed 306s, which are the New Hampshire state law requirements for graduation. Those graduation requirements have changed for the graduating class of 2030. So our program of studies needs to reflect both the graduation requirements for 27, 28, 29, and then also for 2030 as they are. There is a pretty good difference between those requirements. That being that they've changed the number of credits required. This has not changed anything for the Sanborn diplomas, but what they have said is that they need to take a certain number of classes in the social studies area. So that's been increased. There have been classes added into the program of studies to reflect those requirements. New Hampshire now requires 4 years of that, and they are very specific about what those need to entail. So those have been added to the program of studies. There are some new courses being offered in the English department as well to align with public speaking and creative writing, which are some new additions from the state that need to be covered. Some of the courses listed in the program of studies, you'll see, I might say course not currently offered. So we did this for planning purposes for the future. We want our students, our current 8th graders, to be able to look at the program of studies and see their 4 years reflected accurately in that program of studies, with the understanding that some of these courses may not be offered until their junior or senior year, because that's the time that those are appropriate for those students to take. And then, the class of 2031 and beyond coming in. We will be putting courses out to students to sign up for, and then based on the student selection, we'll determine which courses will actually run. So you'll see there are some new electives being offered, primarily in the business and technology area, some exploration in different career fields that they were pretty passionate about offering to our students here. That being said, we don't anticipate them all running in the same year, and we will make those choices based on the number of students that show interest in it, and we'll then set our master schedule from that. Additionally, SST has approved the electrical program for next year, and we are sending 6 or 7, sorry to say 6, 7, but we are sending 6 or 7 students to that program next year. I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
Can I share a fun fact about electrical programs?
Yes, please.
It's a 4-year program. I'm super excited about this. This is great. It's a 4-year program. Today, for every one new electrician who gets their license in the state of New Hampshire, so young men and women going through these programs, 2 are retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And that's not unique amongst the trades. So this is really important stuff. I love it. Sorry to interrupt.
Great.
Yeah, just to clarify, the SSD program is a 2-year program and everything. Yeah, it covers the first 2 years, and we're really happy about that. And I quickly pulled the number up. We do have the last I got from SST, we had 7 kids enrolled in that program. I'm trying to look and see if that's they combine the 2 levels, the first year and the second year. So I can't tell how many here. Some of the kids are only going to have a 1-year experience because this is a new program. Other kids will enter in the morning, or our mid session is, and then hopefully continue on. But you're dead on about that. I had a kid leave here a couple years ago, go work down the street at P&H, and he was making a whole lot of money in 3 years out of high school with no debt.
That all employers are really interested in the student graduating.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Do we need a motion to approve?
I have a question. What changed on the fine and performing arts and the technology? It says 0.5.
They went down.
They went down.
They were previously 1.0 here at Sanborn. The reason that it was adjusted to 0.5 was because of the increase in the amount of social studies, English, that public speaking, it's logic and rhetoric is technically what it's called for the state. And I believe there was one other that got added in. And so we wanted to still allow the students to be able to explore those electives.
Yes.
And not just force them into those 2 areas. So we felt that would give them some more freedom to be able to choose their electives.
So that was a Sanborn decision, not a state decision.
Yes, sorry, I forgot about that one piece.
But it's also, I think, probably important to note that it looks, if you just look at it that way, it looks like they're quite minimal, but this is requirements because you still have your 5.5 electives, right? So you can,
Set your core.
it's not so much it's just the requirements. It doesn't reflect what your experience would necessarily be if you wanted to pursue those kinds of things. Okay, I'm good. Do we need a motion to
Approve, right?
approve this? Is this an approved thing or an informed?
I think it's an informed thing. I'm never quite sure. It always seems that, this is another one of those that's in there. There's nothing wrong with approving something.
Yeah, might as well.
If you're
Make a
happy.
motion to approve as presented. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Good. All in favor? Unanimous?
Not bad, Nicole.
All right, you finally don't have to listen to my voice anymore. Thank you so much.
Dan, we have on here the SAFE grant, round 4 award notification. Is that something that you can
Are you going to do
do
it
for
from
us? You can do it from there if you want to.
Got to speak really loud from over there. I'm sympathetic to Glenn. The more people can talk into microphones, I'm reminding you for Glenn, especially you in particular over there.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but we were just awarded a grant for 56,000.
$54,650.
And that is for the middle school section of this building for electronic locks. So card readers at all classroom doors and related rooms that impact the middle school. So such as gymnasium, cafeteria, art rooms, those shared areas with the high school. We could also possibly do card readers there depending on how far that funding goes. I wrote the grant for all our schools, but they awarded us just for the middle school at this point. So I'm hoping in the next round, possibly more grant money for the high school, Memorial, Bakey, whatever. So,
So instead of keys, they would just have card readers. for the
yep,
door.
just our card reader, they would go up to the door and the purpose was to expedite them entering in the room in case there's an emergency. So instead of fumbling for keys, you just go right up to it. Card reader pops the door open, they go right in at that point. It's cheaper to maintain too, because when you lose a hard key, it
Mhm.
means rekeying doors and everything too. Card readers, we just delete them in the system and it's easy. So,
Yep.
Good.
but that will be fully funded through the grant. So
And I've asked Dan when he's looking with the companies to implement the grant to look at the possibility of doing the entire school at the same time, where it could be something where the facilities finance or the board decides to, like, we might be able to do the library as a middle school space and the art rooms, but if we leave out just the high school classrooms, it might make sense to do the whole building all at the same time if that works out. So I
yeah,
think that's
if
something we're gonna look at.
financially it makes sense to do that, to spend a little bit extra money out of our budget to do the whole school. It may be a good thing. So
Yep.
Keep writing the grants, Dan.
what's that?
Keep writing the grants.
Oh, I do. I write a lot of grants.
No, and we appreciate it. Thank you very
No
much.
worries. But anytime.
I make a motion to approve the SAFE grant round 4
Mhm.
for middle school card readers.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, Dan.
Unanimous?
Thank you.
Dan.
Appreciate it.
Nice work.
And Micah, there is,
Is that, I signed them already.
yeah, there is a sheet of paper that, oh, you did sign
I
it?
think I did, yeah.
Perfect. It only required the board chair.
We'll look at, jeez. That was
Good
on.
catch.
Okay. Marie, you're up. The MS 22.
Yes, so in that, I don't know if you passed that around, but the entire board needs to sign that, and that is just pretty much.
I didn't see it yet.
It's in there.
It's not.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's in that one.
But I also.
It must be in the purple folder.
This one.
So it's
Yes.
just a report of the appropriations that were voted on at the past election, all of the articles. That has to be,
Print and sign.
print and sign,
I always screw that up.
but it has to be submitted to the Department of Revenue. That is just the last piece. You have to scan the signed report today.
You didn't sign it.
I didn't.
You did not. Cover your-
It didn't have a little sticky note like
That's
this.
okay. I got you.
Did you print his name for him?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll send that around.
Yep, you don't have to approve or anything.
Mike
it's
is
just
admin.
more of a formality of sign.
Sign here, honey.
Oh, we do it right now.
You guys are so helpful to each other.
Yeah. Can I just, while you're signing that, passing around?
Yeah, while we
can I
have
just
this
say
dead-
one thing,
Dead spot.
going back to the facilities and finance, because I wrote this down, and I forgot to mention it, and I think it's important. Marie shared with us, because I'd asked how much federal and state aid that we've received as a district year to date out of our $40 million budget. We've received $2,865,360. I'm sorry, $2,865,363.56, which represents a whopping 7% of our budget from federal and state aid. So let's give the federal and state aid a round of applause, because they put all the burden on the Kingston and Newton taxpayers. I think that's important for the voters of both towns to understand that.
Yeah. Most about half the money.
And it's gonna get worse.
Sir.
There's more laws to push it back.
Mhm.
All right. Let's move on to the proposed tuition rates
Yeah.
for 26, 27.
Yep, so, every year at this time, we have to, up with the new rate for the next fiscal year for 26, 27. And it goes based on the, DOE 25. And then at the same time, we have to calculate the Fremont tuition rates, which is also calculated using the Department of Ed formulas. So next year, the 26-27 adopted calculated rate for elementary is 30,008. Middle school would be 23,687.83, and the high school is $25,047.89. And then there's a guaranteed max, which is, and then the Fremont contracted tuition for 26-27 would be $27,329.60. And I think you have it all in your packet.
Yep.
My notes is on.
And Marie, do you happen, sorry, do you happen to have the Fremont contract tuition rate for 25-26 as a reference?
Yes. It is $27,094.47 for 25-26. So it went up.
Couple $100.
Oh, yeah. The guaranteed max was over 33,000 when I did it back in December, but that was on the default budget.
Mm.
Since our default budget was 1.4 million less than, I mean, our proposed was 1.4
Mhm.
million less. That's why it's down so much.
Thank you.
So those, nothing has to, we don't have to do anything with that.
Nope, it's just,
Okay.
and I just have to send it to Fremont.
And there's a specified time that we have to send it, which is, yeah, okay. So old business. Marie, again, let's talk about the SLC, Lisa.
So that I think is just Heather and Bob have to come up with a date that SLC gave me 4 dates. And I will obviously I will go along if you guys need or want me to, but they gave us 4 dates that they would want to sit and or give us so that you guys can choose, but April 15th, April 16th, April 20th or 21st, and any time between 8 and 2.
15th is
Probably do the 21st between in the afternoon and the 20th in the afternoon, like 1 or 12 or 1.
those work for me.
All right,
So 20th in the AM.
both afternoons, she
So the
said.
20th, I could do 12:30 to 2. No, the 21st, 12:30 to 2, the 20th, 12 to 2. And I could do, did they say 8 a.m.?
They could meet as early as between,
I could do 8 either day.
oh,
I can't do the 15th, but we're good.
well, no, she's talking the
Just
20th.
the 20th and 22nd. Okay.
20th.
20 and 21st.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do 8 a.m. or after 12:30.
We will book that.
You want me to come along? I can do the 20th. I can't do the 21st or the 22nd because the food service review at the middle school is going to happen those 2 days.
Yeah, we can sort it out in the morning
Okay,
easily enough. Yeah.
okay. I'm thinking the 20th.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
I think, is that it?
that's it for you?
Okay.
Kathleen sent me some notes. She got straight A's in high school, I guarantee. Sent me notes on our school board goals. As of last meeting, I think that if I'm summarizing correctly, your notes really focused on ensuring that the goals are the smart nature of the goals be enumerated better than they are. The specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I have notes from you there. I don't think I've received any commentary from anybody else. I'd love to receive some commentary though. If anybody else has it, maybe we push the conversation of goals out. Again, we don't want to do too much until, in the spirit of the conversation we've been having already about Adam coming in, we probably want to get a general sense of directionality when he gets here, but we should talk about, so maybe just a reminder to send some more stuff as you have the time. Thank you.
A bunch of stuff, Micah, that was originally sent back to Bob originally, because that was the original conduit, was we were sending stuff to you for some reason, and then you were gathering it, and so I guess I can go back and re-look at that and
Yeah, way back.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what turned into the goals themselves. We ended up agreeing on
So I would,
I
somebody's
Smartified
version.
all my stuff, but then it went to Bob, so I can grab that and resend it to
You're saying he made it dumb again?
I think the version that we have now was one of those
Did you?
versions.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's turned into the goals themselves.
I shouldn't
Did
say
you
that-
share? Do you mind if he shares what you said?
He can certainly share it by email. It's quite lengthy.
That's okay.
It's just, we had, they were smart, but these are smarter
Yeah.
than they were. Let's just,
Like that.
to be real, we're both clinicians, but she does goal writing. I don't see clients anymore, so.
Yeah.
I write treatment plans for a living. This is.
this is a treatment plan for the district is what it
You
is.
feel it's good and you feel it's good. Well, I mean,
So
why don't
what-
we? why don't
There's a
we-
lot of questions,
Okay, well,
I think it's helpful for clarification. Are we just looking at the current goals for this year, right, through June, right? Or are we trying to start talking about goals for the next year? Because I think, right, like a lot of my clarifications that I sent were ways to make the current goal list more readable so that by June we would actually be able to say, wow, we achieved this goal, or wow, we really didn't. Let's put this information.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the goals being more organic and related to whatever we do our strategic plan,
Yeah.
like, we can meet the goals, but then we can.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I mean,
Be so, because like, we set goals usually like prior to the like new school year, but like, I think a lot of the things, as we have all said, is like, we're waiting for the, for the new superintendent. So I would not create new goals. I would just kind of update what we have and then work collaboratively about making.
our goals were never really like smart goals, right?
Right.
So this is
They
like,
really aren't.
and apparently we did a bad job, I guess. So I think we attempted to do smart goals.
Yeah.
I can help. I
Yeah,
can.
sounds like, yeah.
help
we
you.
could,
I see a lot of red.
a lot of red. There's a lot of red. If you want to look at these three, those three in particular.
One that helped sort of smart, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, look,
great job.
I would love to adopt maybe an approach where we have long-term, because of the amount of transition that we see
Yep.
and are dealing with, maybe we adopt long-term directional goals, but have these time-bound benchmarks,
Yes.
right? Like for this year,
Yep.
what are some benchmarks
Yeah.
for this year?
Yep.
Right? So the goal can remain over time,
Exactly.
but you continue to hit benchmarks and reevaluate and see where you are.
Objectives and intervention.
Yeah. Well, if you want to put it in those terms.
Yeah, and if I can just speak from my office, if you will, and
Please.
obviously this is couched in all of the, Adam coming on board stuff. The earlier the goals are kind of finished, it helps the superintendent work with the principals and the principals to set building goals, and that always lags behind. When the goals lag, it's really hard having been a principal before to set those. So I would encourage you to try to get these set in place as early as possible, given the fact that obviously Adam has to play a role in these.
And when we're thinking about goals, really what you want to do is think about what are the problems? And then we set goals to fix the problems, right? You don't think about what is the goal. You think about what is the problem.
Culture.
So you're going to send,
I'll send that out to everybody with a proposed structure for us to have input without it being a meeting.
And we are
Yeah, that's fine.
focused primarily on updating, changing, adding, deleting for the 26-27 school.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we
would
probably,
really discourage us in April changing goal.
yeah, no, I think the overall goals are directionally correct.
I think, the idea is that we would have them ready for Adam to review.
That's,
Exactly.
yeah, that seems awesome. And I think just, we talked about in our last meeting, and if I missed this, shame on me. I was interested in, with information available today on the goals that we have today, where are we at?
Mhm.
Right? So there's like, I know not everything is done. There's some June assessments that are.
Yeah.
There's staff retention survey.
Yeah.
Has that been done? What were the results? Like that is useful for under the goals we have today, understanding where we're at with the data we have.
Mhm.
As we add or modify.
Yep.
That was a lot of my red note.
There was a lot of red in there. All right. Okay, so we have a plan for that. Let's now move on to Bob. Protocols for school board non-public minutes.
Yes. So last year we redid policy BEDG, which included some updates from the state on the state law on how non-public minutes are to be kept. I spent a good chunk of time in the last couple of weeks reading through the suggested policy from the School Board Association, from the law, and I have to give a shout out to Samantha Olson, a resident of the district, who sent us a very well thought out email that I actually read down to make sure we covered everything, because I knew she is really good at sort of ferreting out the things we have to do. I've sent to you guys a draft of a note-taking document that can be used for non-public meetings that covers all the bases for a non-public meeting and the kind of things that you need to record, like recording the exact roll call vote and putting in the minutes the vote of every single member, even if it's 7 of you were here and everybody votes to go in, that you record it that way, the time you go in. And then there's a spot in those notes for the recording of the issues that are discussed. There's space for 4, but of course you could always throw an extra piece of paper in there if there were more issues. The roll call vote to come out, and then trying to set this up also so that when Phyllis turns this into the non-public minutes that are published, to talk about to basically explain what we talked about, that it includes all the things that are supposed to go out immediately. And then on the very last page, I've included an envelope label, and I have a sample for you. I know this is very exciting. That the idea would be that the non-public would be sealed. This envelope doesn't seal, but it's just a sample, and would be placed in the back with this cover sheet that includes the information that now is required to be on the cover sheet. These are actually the March 18th notes from the non-public session we had that night, are in this envelope. I was the note taker that night, so I actually hand wrote them, even though my handwriting isn't great. They're legible. And the reasons and so forth on the outside. So I just wanted to give you a preview of what I think is the right way to go here. With that, I don't know that's necessarily a action item as much as it's another discussion item for moving forward, but I think this is something that we can implement right away. Not necessarily tonight, but the next time we do have a non-public. Yes. Yes, thank you. Phil, what Phyllis is saying back there, if you can't hear, is that this was used, the note-taking record piece that is sort of a back end thing for Phyllis in the minutes, was used for the minutes this particular week. So you can get a preview of what kind of information that we're required to put out and so forth, and trying to make it pretty user-friendly. So all Phyllis really has to go in there is just delete the reasons that aren't used and so forth. So we were trying to make it really simple, and the margins line up with the minutes that she uses and so forth. So I welcome your comments.
I liked it. I thought
That's my favorite kind of comment, of course.
From the building.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I have no objections.
Perfect.
Okay. Now to second public comment.
Yes.
Here we go. Please state your name, town, all the things.
I'm Liz Beebe from Kingston, New Hampshire. I'm only going to say publicly that I am pretty floored by how many things were presented tonight without collaboration with the staff. I appreciate that you all are taking it under consideration, asking for more data, and I appreciate that you're putting those things on hold for a bit. Thank you.
It's valuable input.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. We'll move on to other business, talk about the next meeting. Next meeting of the Sanborn Regional School Board will be a joint school board meeting held with the Fremont School Board on Wednesday, April 15th. 2026 at 6 p.m. in the library at Sanborn Regional High School.
I make
Tax-
a motion.
tax day.
To non-public RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, A, B, C, D, L.
Second.
I
And
don't have any non-public items, so I don't know if anybody else does, but I do not.
Where'd all the letters come from?
There's a lot of letters.
Yeah, that's just sort of standard what we put on there in case something comes up. So I don't,
Oh.
I'm just saying we don't,
Need a non-public.
Yeah.
I do not have anything for
So
non-public.
moving forward, I would request that we're not just putting standard letters down because that's not the purpose of them. I think we discussed this when we had the New Hampshire guy here last week educating us.
Mhm.
The non-public, although it is non-public, the reasons should be clearly listed, and that's the only thing that we should be talking about, and that's the only thing that should be listed.
Yep,
So I
we can
would
fix
ask
that.
That's fixed. Thank
Yep,
you.
that's easy.
So I rescind my motion.
I rescind my second.
We never have not had a
I know.
non-public.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know what to do.
We're going to be home before 8.
Go,
go. Okay, on that note, we will adjourn. Thank you.